Hi, my name is Luciana, and in this video, we're going to show you how to debug Flask and Django applications in Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is Microsoft's lightweight, cross-platform open source editor, and it offers built-in support for JavaScript, TypeScript, and Node.js, but you can customize your development experience through extensions. In this video, we're going to show how to work with a Python extension that offers you a lot of features such as environment handling, web development support, editing features such as IntelliSense, linting formatting, as well as data science features such as Jupyter Notebook support, Variable Explorer, and Data Viewer, and much more. We are also going to use IntelliCode, which is an extension for Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code that gives you AI-assisted development features. And in this case, we're going to show how you can have powerful IntelliSense with IntelliCode. So let's get this started. So I'm going to start by navigating to the folder that I want to open in Visual Studio Code from my terminal. So I have my terminal open here. I'm going to cd into the Flask app that I had cloned. And when I list the directories here, I can see what I have. And I can start Visual Studio Code by typing code dot. So it opened my Flask application for me. I can see here on the left hand side that we have on our file explorer, there are all the files and directories in this workspace. I already have extensions installed here, but if you don't, you can come here on the extensions view and look for the extension you want to install. In this case, we looked for Python and installed the Python extension, but we also have IntelliCode that will provide us with powerful autocompletion. So let's take a look here. Once we open a Python file, the Python extension will activate. And we can see here that it selected an environment for me. So I can easily change this one by clicking here on the status bar. And here it will show me a list of available environments that are here on my machine. I'm going to select this one that is a virtual environment that is already configured for this application. A virtual environment is just a way for you to isolate your project's dependencies so you don't have to install any packages and mess up with your global Python environment. It's very helpful and avoids a lot of headaches when you're dealing with Python projects when you have like dependencies and packages to install. So I have this Python file here open. It's the views.py file and I have an entry point for my application. So I'm just gonna start running it to see what it does. I'm gonna come here to the run view and I can see that I can start running debugging, but in this case, I want to create a configuration file for my debugger so I can reuse it and customize it as I want. And I can see here that it's asking me to select the debug configuration. In this case, this is a Flask application, so I'm going to select this one. It will also ask me the path to the application. In this case, the entry point is under web app. That is under hello app folder. So I'm going to enter this path here. Hit enter. And this will create for me the configuration file for the debugger. And this basically will add instructions for how the debugger can launch your application as well as arguments that it may pass. So by default, this is the configuration that the Python extension provides for you, but you can customize it. And VS Code provides really nice autocompletion, so you can use that to understand what are the options you can customize for the debugger. For example, there's this one called Just My Code that configures the level of like ability that you have to step into modules. So by default, the Python extension will only step into methods that are defined in your user code. So if you want to step into calls that are from, for example, libraries or packages, you need to enable this functionality. And this is the setting that you can do so. So if I click tab, it will autocomplete. As you can see, this is the default value. So I'm gonna switch it to false. Now that we've seen how you can configure the debugger, we're going to go to the views py file. We're going to set up a breakpoint here on the line with the return statement, and we're going to test this to run how to run this application and just to see how it looks. So I can come here, make sure I selected Python Flask and hit play, or I can also hit F5 to start debugging. And we can see it launched the server for us, so I'm going to open it by control clicking it. So we can see that the application is loading here because it stopped on the breakpoint. And when I come here, I can actually hover over variables to see their values, or I can open the debug view to check the variable window, and then I can also make quick changes, temporary changes if I want to see how they will look updated in the application. So that's really nice. But I am going to try to step into this method. And we can see that it opened this templating file, which is actually inside the Flask package. So if I want to investigate how the code is being executed in the package, I can do so. And this is all because we configured the debugger to not just allow stepping to just user code. So that's nice. So now when I hit continue, I will come back here to the views and I'm going to hit continue once more. There we go. We can see that this is a simple application. It's just drawing here a function. So let's take a look into something a little bit more exciting with Django and React. I'm going to start by opening the Django application by coming here on File, Open Folder, and selecting the folder. Now Visual Studio Code is opening with this folder open as my workspace. And we can see here that all my files and folders are here. When I click on the Python file, the Python extension will activate. And we can see that it's selected an environment for me already, and I want to keep using it, so I'm not going to change it. And this environment was already set up for me here. Awesome, so let's try to run this. I'm going to open the run view, and I'm going to create a launch.json file. But this time, I'm going to select Django. And I have here this default configuration, and we can see here that there is an argument saying disabling the live reloading feature from Django, because we want to have the ability to have the web server to reload when we save a change, make a change and save it on the file. So, okay, I am going to try this out. Let's open the debug view and make sure we're selecting the right configuration and start running. Awesome. So I have my app running and I am going to run it again by control clicking it. So I see this very simple application. So I'm going to make a change and see what happens. I am changing this here to index and I'm going to hit save. And once I do, I can see that the web server is reloading with the changes I made. So the web server will apply these changes. So I can see that it reloaded. So once I refresh, I would see a whole new page. Um, if I were to do a different kind of change, I could still leverage from the power of IntelliCode. So for example, if I start typing user creation form dot, we can see here that it has a few good suggestions for us to play around with. So in this demo, we've seen how you can use the Python extension in Visual Studio Code to select an environment for your web application and how you can have the debugging support through configuring the debugger as well as inspecting the variables through the variable window or hovering over them on the editor. And we've also seen live reloading support, so you can make your changes and have the web server to reload even when you're in the debug session. And we've also seen how you can get powerful auto-completion suggestions with IntelliCode and have this AI assistance on your development of Python. You can try all of these out today. You can get Visual Studio Code, a Python extension, and IntelliCode through the following links. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.